Question: a firm is praised by analysts for its sophisticated models, comprehensive dashboards, and strong regulatory compliance. Despite this, it consistently underperforms peers and experiences periodic large losses. Critically evaluate why good risk management infrastructure may fail to deliver good risk outcomes, integrating culture, incentives, judgment, and the external environment. 25 marks. Section 1. Interpretation and key points. Quick awareness check. Capability versus behavior. You can have the best tools in the shed, but if the carpenter is incentivized to work fast rather than safely, the house will collapse. The compliance trap. Being compliant means you have met the minimum legal bar. It does not mean you are safe or profitable. Incentive misalignment. If the CEO gets a bonus for growth, they will find ways to bypass the red lights on the risk dashboard. The black box problem. Sophisticated models can create a false sense of security, overconfidence, while masking tail risks. Section 2. Logic breakdown. 1. The infrastructure fallacy. Infrastructure, models/dashboards, is the skeleton of risk management, but culture is the heart. If the culture is toxic or dismissive of risk, the infrastructure becomes a compliance theater, appearing robust to outsiders, analysts, while remaining hollow internally. 2. Incentives and the first line. Management and sales are the first line of defense. If their incentives are tied to short-term volume or accounting profit, they will view risk management as a hurdle to be cleared rather than a partner. This leads to adverse selection, where the firm takes on risks the models haven't yet priced. 3. Model risk and judgment. Sophisticated models often suffer from model risk because they are based on historical data. In a shifting external environment, e.g., rapid inflation or tech disruption, these models become blind. If management lacks the professional judgment to override a green dashboard when the real world feels wrong, they will experience periodic large losses. 4. The compliance paradox. Strong compliance can actually increase risk if it leads to complacency. If the board thinks the regulator is happy so we must be safe, they stop looking for unmodeled risks or tail dependencies. 5. The control cycle failure. In this firm, the monitoring phase is likely broken. The data is collected for the dashboard, but it isn't being used for feedback to change the problem specification. This is a mechanical application of the actuarial control cycle. Section 3. High distinction model answer. The disconnect between sophisticated infrastructure and poor risk outcomes occurs when a firm prioritizes the process of risk management over its purpose. Sophisticated models and dashboards provide risk visibility, but they do not provide risk control if the underlying risk culture is weak. When a firm is praised for its infrastructure while suffering periodic losses, it is often a sign of compliance deception, where the firm meets the technical requirements of the regulator but lacks the professional judgment to act on the warnings those models provide. Incentives are the primary driver of this failure. If the firm's remuneration structure rewards short-term premium growth or return on capital without adjusting for the tail risk being assumed, the first line of defense will naturally seek to optimize the models rather than manage the risks. This leads to model risk, where sophisticated algorithms are calibrated to maximize volume within the green zones of a dashboard. Such a setup creates a false reassurance loop. The board sees stable metrics and compliance while the firm is actually accumulating concentration risk that only crystallizes during a systemic shock. The external business environment acts as a catalyst for these infrastructure failures. Models are inherently backward-looking. They assume that future correlations will mirror the past. In a period of structural change, such as shifting inflation regimes or rapid digitalization, historical data becomes a poor guide. If the firm relies mechanically on its infrastructure without a human in the loop to provide expert judgment, it will fail to detect emerging risks. The periodic large losses mentioned are likely the result of tail dependency, where risks that the firm thought were diversified actually move in tandem during a crisis. Ultimately, effective risk management is a governance issue, not a technical one. The actuarial control cycle is only effective when the monitoring phase triggers a genuine re-specification of the business strategy. Professionalism requires the actuary and the CRO to provide a robust challenge to management, even when the dashboards are green. Long-term viability depends on a culture where risk information is used to make difficult trade-offs, such as sacrificing short-term profit for long-term solvency, rather than being treated as a checkbox exercise for analysts and regulators.